5 interceptions the last 3 games for Tom Brady after throwing 2 more in the Monday Night Football loss in Week 11 to the Rams here for the Bucs. He's thrown more attempts this year than anybody in football, 433. All of them just haven't ended up where he's wanted them to go. But Bucs offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich not reading too much into the offensive struggles here at this point.
I don't think we have a chemistry issue. I think when you don't win football games, you look at what happened and what didn't happen. And normally when you lose, you don't make a certain amount of plays. And when you win, you do make those plays. So we understand that. We just got to continuously work and getting better and try to go out every time we get an opportunity and win the football game.
All right, Rhett Lewis back here with Willie McGinest. Willie, listening to Byron Leftwich right there. I mean, look, you boil it down, he's right. You didn't make enough plays to win the football game. Is it as simple as that for Tom Brady in these games that the Bucs offense has really struggled, like last week against the Rams?
No, I understand that. When you lose football games, it's usually because the team plays better or they beat you in a certain situation or critical situations. But it's how you lose football games. And the continuity is not there. Going into that Rams game, Brady was 3 of 30, for deep passes. Since week 5, he was 3 for 30. That is an issue. You got to be in sync. You got to be on the same page. When you watch this football game, sometimes the running backs or the receivers wasn't ready for the ball. I played with Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady. He has a clock in his head where he wants the ball to come out. If you're not ready for it, he's still going to try to get it out. If he tries to hold on to it too long, these type of plays happen. He's going to get hit in the pocket. So you do have to be in sync. The receivers are used to running certain routes a certain way. He's used to having the ball out a certain way. And for his receivers running, they just got to get the chemistry together, and they do have to be on the same page. It will take some time. He mentioned that a week prior, that it's not perfect. Just because you got highly talented players that can play at a high level, you can't just go out on the football field and everything's going to fit perfectly. So they got to get that going. This week, Rhett, is a pretty good week to get it going because the Chiefs defense have been giving up almost 300 yards in the last couple of weeks in the passing. That's right. They're giving up 31 points in the last couple of weeks. So if you're finding a right defense to get back on track, you're going against the Chiefs. You need to get it going this week.
All right, we'll see if that rings true here for Tom Brady and the Bucs as they get set for the Chiefs this week in Week 12, trying to find that rhythm offensively, as Willie mentioned. Talent alone does not win you football games.
It is not over. The Dalton gang rides again. Screen right, caught by Elliott, banging into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys. Dalton looking left, throwing a fake, diving, Lamb, what a catch!
Passing over the middle, caught, and he was speared. Ball popped out.
And a holler, broke free, foot race.
The Cowboys ran it down their throat.
Dalton looking in the middle of the end zone to Schultz, touchdown! Dalton to Dalton Schultz, and the Cowboys are back on top.
All right, back here on NFL Total Access, taking you right down to Arlington, Texas, where the Cowboys and Washington football team meet up for our second course here on Thanksgiving Day. Jane Slater live with us now, helping to get us ready. Jane, look, third win of the season for the Cowboys comes in the first game in which Ezekiel Elliott rushes for over 100 yards. So getting to be a bigger part of the game plan now, how does Washington prepare for Zeke and the Cowboys' rushing attack?
Well, let's just first start off by saying, Rhett, that we are talking about a playoff race between two teams that have just 3 wins each. But, you know, as Ron Rivera himself, who said even he's surprised. He knows this division well. He coached with Andy Reid at the Eagles and says historically they're better. But what he sees in front of him is an opportunity. And to your point, running back Ezekiel Elliott, well, he said essentially the same thing this week. Everything that they want is right in front of them as this division lays out. Yes, he's just coming off his first 100-yard rushing game of the season, and this is an area the Cowboys can take advantage of. Yes, this Washington football team has a stout defense, but when they give up 100 yards or more rushing, they are 0-7 this season, Rhett.
And the Cowboys, of course, playing today with heavy hearts as tragedy striking that franchise and the NFL community when strength and conditioning coach Marcus Paul passed away after a medical emergency at the Star in Frisco, Texas this week. Jane, you know, I think we've seen the outpouring of support from around the NFL, of course, not just within the Cowboys organization, as Marcus Paul has impacted so many. What have you heard from the Washington side of things about this tragedy here for Marcus Paul and the Cowboys?
Tragic and unexpected are the words that I've been hearing this week from a lot of people that I've talked to. As you said, he's had an impact on so many around the league, but specifically here with the Cowboys players, here it was Dak Prescott taking to social media saying, quote, "Thank you for everything, Coach. I'll never understand this one, but you taught me so much and provided so many laughs. I'm forever thankful and will never forget." I caught up with Washington football team head coach Ron Rivera this week about Paul, and they played together with the Chicago Bears. He told me his nickname was Greyhound because he was always running from side to side, the picture of hell. So his word, stunned. He said his last interaction with them was when these two teams played earlier this season, and Paul made a point to come over to him and wish him the best of luck during his own cancer treatments. As you can imagine, this one is going to be a hard one. In fact, the Cowboys gathered on the field before they went to the locker room, and it was Sean Lee in the middle of it that said, "Take everything you've got and do this for him." They are today going to honor him. They're going to be wearing decals on their helmets. There'll also be a moment of silence and a tribute to Marcus Paul, 54 years old, Rhett.
Oh, man. It's a tough one today for the Cowboys as they have to play with this on their minds. Thanks very much, Jane Slater, live for us today on NFL Total Access ahead of the Cowboys and Washington matchup. All right, let's get you back to the first game of the day here. Deshaun Watson, terrific, and the Texans win earlier this afternoon in Detroit, 41-25 over the Lions. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Watson, and that's been the theme here the last 6 games. 15 TDs, 0 giveaways since week 6 as the Texans have gone 3-3. Deshaun Watson playing very well. Now back to Detroit, where Texans interim head coach Romeo Crennel is at the podium.
Well, I don't know the name of the play. He just told me that he was wanted to run a flea flicker, and I said, okay, let's go with it. And so he made the call, and then we executed the play.
Mark Berman.
Romeo, a couple questions. One, you talk about J.J. Watt's pick 6 and how that helped set the tone for the game.
Well, you know what? We talked about turnovers during the week, and I mentioned that they come in streaks sometimes, and we talked about how JJ used to be able to tip the ball, intercept it, and run it in for a touchdown, and then, lo and behold, he does it early in the game, and put us up, got points on the board, and so we felt good about that, and I think that gave the defense a lift, and it gave the whole team a lift to see him make a play like that, and so that was good.
Jim Nantz and Tony Romo talked during the game about when they were discussing with you getting this opportunity to be the interim, that you got emotional thinking this sort of thing had kind of passed you by. Can you talk about your emotions then, how you've been emotional about being in this position now at your age?
Well, it's not necessarily at my age that makes a difference. The opportunity came along and I decided to take the job. And I did it for the players in that locker room because I've been with most of them for 6 years. And I know sometimes with the coaching change, what can happen to a team. So I didn't want that to happen to this team. And so the guys respect me. They work for me. They do a good job. They listen. And so we're able to win, a couple games. And now we got the next month of the season to try to show more about who we are, how hard we play, how tough we are, and those kind of things.